All right, so we're diving into Act 3, Scene 1 of Romeo and Juliet.
Ooh, okay.
And this is where things get really, really intense.
Really intense. Yay.
We're in Verona.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hot summer day.
Yes.
Shakespeare really emphasizes the heat. You know, like,
Yeah.
it's almost like it's foreshadowing the violence that's about to happen.
It's like that heat is kind of pushing everybody towards that, you know?
Totally. And remember that whole ancient grudge thing between the Montagues and the Capulets?
Oh, absolutely.
This is where it really explodes.
Yeah.
We start with Mercutio and Benvolio entering.
Right.
And they're already kind of going at it.
Yeah, and you see the personalities right away.
Oh, yeah.
Benvolio, he's trying to be the peacemaker.
He's like, guys, can we just chill? It's too hot for this.
Exactly.
But Mercutio, he's a whole other story.
Oh, yeah.
Shakespeare gives him these lines that are just so witty and so funny. Like when he compares Benvolio to someone who picks fights in a tavern but can't actually back it up.
Right.
It's hilarious, but also a little scary how quickly things can escalate.
Yeah, and it shows a lot about the culture of that time, too.
Oh, how so?
Honor and reputation, those were huge deals back then.
Right.
Like any little insult could lead to a duel.
Wow.
And speaking of insults, here comes Tybalt.
Oh.
He's looking for Romeo, and he is not messing around.
He's ready to throw down.
Oh, yeah, he is still fuming about Romeo crashing the Capulet party.
Right.
And you got to think about it from Tybalt's perspective.
Okay, yeah.
He's Juliet's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So family honor is everything to him.
That's right.
In his mind, Romeo disrespected his family.
Yeah.
And he has to get revenge.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Oh, tell me.
Romeo, our love-struck hero, who is now secretly married to Juliet, enters the scene.
Whoa, talk about dramatic irony.
Right.
The audience knows something the characters don't. We're just waiting for the bomb to drop.
Totally.
Tybalt has no idea that Romeo is now family, essentially. And he immediately challenges him to a duel.
And Romeo's response is kind of unexpected.
How so?
He tries to be peaceful.
Really?
Yeah, he even calls Tybalt good Capulet.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, given that he's married to Juliet now.
But it doesn't go over well.
No.
Not at all. Especially with Mercutio.
Why is that?
To Mercutio, it's like Romeo's being cowardly.
Oh, I see.
Remember how we said that honor was so important back then?
Yeah.
Refusing a duel was like the ultimate sign of weakness.
Oh, wow.
So Mercutio sees Romeo trying to be peaceful. And he's like, dude, what are you doing? You're shaming yourself.
Yeah, I can see how that would be a problem.
It's like Romeo's trying to do the right thing, but it completely backfires.
It's like that saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Exactly.
And that's kind of where it all goes wrong, right? Like, Mercutio's so offended by what he sees as Romeo's, like, weakness,
Right.
that he jumps in to fight Tybalt himself.
Oh, wow.
Almost like he feels he has to, like, defend Romeo's honor, even though Romeo doesn't want him to.
Oh, man, that just makes things so much worse.
It's like pouring gasoline on a fire, you know?
Totally. Romeo's trying desperately to stop the fight,
Yeah.
but it's just too late.
It's like fate has taken over at this point.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's so good at creating that sense of, like, inevitability.
Yes.
Like, you know something terrible is going to happen.
And then, boom, tragedy strikes. Tybalt fatally wounds Mercutio.
Oh, man.
It's just heartbreaking, especially when he said that famous line, a plague of both your houses.
Ugh, I get chills every time I hear that line.
Me too.
It's so powerful. You can just feel Mercutio's anger
Yeah.
at both families, you know?
Yeah, well, like he's blaming them for his own death.
Exactly. They created this feud.
Right.
And now he's paying the ultimate price.
And even as he's dying,
yeah.
he still manages to crack a few jokes.
Oh, that's so Mercutio.
It is, but it's also so sad.
It's like a mix of humor and bitterness all at once.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you really feel the mood of the play shift at this moment.
Yeah, how so?
Like up until now, it's been this romantic comedy almost.
Right.
But then Mercutio dies and it becomes a tragedy.
It's like everything changes in an instant.
Yeah, and poor Romeo, he's completely devastated.
I bet.
He blames himself for Mercutio's death.
Of course.
And then his grief turns into rage.
Oh, no.
He cries out, "Oh, I am fortune's fool."
No, that's a good line.
And then he does something that changes everything.
What's that?
He kills Tybalt.
Whoa, okay. Things just went from bad to worse.
Oh,
like,
no.
up until now, Romeo's been all about love and poetry.
Totally.
But now we see this darker side to him.
Yeah.
This capacity for violence that we hadn't seen before.
It's kind of scary. actually.
But also really interesting, right? Like,
Yeah.
Shakespeare's not afraid to show us that even good people are capable of doing terrible things.
Especially when they're driven by these powerful emotions.
Like grief and rage.
Exactly.
So it really makes you think, right?
About.
Does Romeo have any control over his own fate? Or is he just a pawn in this bigger game?
I mean, it's like Shakespeare just throws this bomb into this whole world of like love and beauty and all that.
Yeah.
And forces us to face the ugliness of it all.
The dark side.
The hatred, the violence, and it all happens so fast.
It really does.
1 minute Mercutio's cracking jokes and the next he's gone.
It's over.
And it makes you realize how fragile life can be.
It does, and it raises all those questions.
Yeah, like, well, what?
Could this have been avoided?
Ooh, that's a good one.
You know, if Romeo hadn't gone to that party,
Right.
if Tybalt could have just let it go,
Yeah.
if Mercutio hadn't stepped in to fight,
Would any of this have happened?
it's like this giant what if hanging over the whole thing.
Totally. And it makes you think about our own choices, you know,
Oh, absolutely.
the consequences that come with them.
Yeah, like sometimes we make decisions that have these ripple effects that we never could have predicted.
That's true. And then there's that whole question of fate versus free will.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Was Romeo destined for this tragedy from the very beginning?
Right?
Or did he make choices that led him down this path?
It's hard to say for sure.
It really is. I mean, you can't deny that there's this sense of like inevitability throughout the whole play.
Right. Like it was always going to end this way.
Almost like it was fated from the start.
Yeah,
But then Romeo does make some impulsive decisions.
that's true.
Like crashing the party and then killing Tybalt.
Yeah, those were definitely choices he made.
So maybe he's both a victim of circumstance
Okay.
and the architect of his own destruction.
That's a really interesting way to put it.
It's complex.
It is. And I think that's what makes Shakespeare so brilliant.
Yeah.
He doesn't give us easy answers, you know?
No, he doesn't.
He presents us with these complicated characters
Yeah.
who are grappling with these huge questions.
About love and fate and responsibility.
Exactly. And he lets us figure it out for ourselves.
So as you go back and read the play or watch a performance, think about this scene and all the questions it raises.
Mm-hmm.
Was this tragedy unavoidable?
Right.
Or could it have been prevented?
And what does it tell us about the power of choices?
The ripple effects of our actions.
Exactly. These are all things that are still relevant today.
Even though the play was written centuries ago.
That's the amazing thing about Shakespeare, isn't it?
It really is. Like his work just transcends time.
It speaks to something universal in the human experience.
Well said.
Yeah.
And on that note, I think we'll wrap things up here.
Sounds good.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Act 3, Scene 1.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.